The essence of tournament paintball is built on Sunday. Films document it. Companies build it into their marketing. It is the catalyst that transforms ordinary paintball teams into spectacular ones. Over the course of 4 seasons competing in the amateur divisions of the Paintball Sports Promotions Tournament Series, Omaha Vicious built a reputation and fan base on Sunday success. Clad in their signature red jerseys, a Sunday-only tradition, Vicious qualified for the final round in almost every tournament they competed in for 4 straight seasons, winning multiple tournaments and 2 amateur series championships. By the end of 2009, Brian Bortle, Chris Hooker, Phil Kank, Parker Rosenthal, and Zach Sherman had become, arguably, the most decorated amateur paintball team of the Race 2 era, culminating with a victory in the semi-pro division of the 2009 PSP World Cup. But the dream of playing professional paintball was quickly and violently awoke by the reality that is the PSP Pro Race 2 series. Vicious would find their first 2 professional seasons far greater challenge than expected. By the summer of 2011, the team would hit the lowest point in its existence, questioning everything that they knew about paintball and about themselves. For the last 12 months, Planet Eclipse and ETV have been rolling cameras following Omaha Vicious, compiling nearly 200 hours of footage as the team crisscrosses the country, attempting to prove that they belong at the sport's highest level, not only to the world, but to themselves. Season 3 of Planet Eclipse Artifact film series begins now with the documentary Red Sunday, featuring Omaha Vicious. It's early June in downtown Omaha, and the city is preparing for the College Baseball World Series. Dubbed the greatest show on dirt, the CWS takes place every year at the end of June. The country's top 8 collegiate baseball teams and thousands of their fans descend on Omaha, fighting it out over the course of a week-long tournament. Meanwhile, 20 miles outside the city limits, in the small town of Louisville, Omaha Vicious arrives at Mad Cow Paintball Park for a 2-day weekend practice in preparation for their own annual late June odyssey, the PSP Chicago Open.
There's been some talk around here, around these neck of the woods, that trying to get on some Nike game right now.
You can't just say, hey, I'm fast, give me a sponsorship. You have to write. And I passed English 102 with a 98%.
Hey, turn, what else? Oklahoma, Zach, let's switch, turn it! Money and turn it, Shane! Oklahoma, money, turn it!
Vicious will practice 2 more times before heading to Joliet, Illinois for the 2012 PSP Chicago Open. And on the same weekend, a new CWS champion will be crowned on the baseball diamond in their hometown. Omaha Vicious will step onto the paintball field at CPX, along with 150 other paintball teams, who will be battling it out to crown champions in 8 different classifications. Omaha Vicious is one of 12 professional paintball teams that compete in the Paintball Sports Promotions Race to 7 tournament series. The Chicago event typically represents the halfway point of the 10-month, 5-stop series. The 2012 Chicago Open isn't just another chance to be crowned professional champions for the first time. But instead, it also gives the team the opportunity to come full circle and to put the roller coaster ride of the past 365 days behind them.
Really well. When you decide to do individual stuff, you guys play like garbage.
Lead the boys off to wars just to throw them away. They bleed around, kill all you 238. The troubled times bringing on our darkest days. This is the death of liberty. This is the price that life has come to mean. All our friends now enemies. The misery of bleeding, bleeding. To my country, the mountain comes, my freedom's lost. Death of liberty. Tell the truth, got something to say. No blood for oil, killing fields, Halliburton money. Wounded troops left to rot, no help from the VA. These troubled times bringing on our darkest days. This is the death of liberty. This is the price that life has come to mean. All our friends now enemies. The misery of bleeding, bleeding. To my country, the mountain comes, my freedom's lost. Death of liberty. Speak the truth! Speak the truth! All thrown away. This is the death of liberty. This is the price that life has come to mean. All our friends now enemies. The misery of bleeding, bleeding. To my country, the mountain comes, my freedom's lost. Death of liberty.
Vicious posts a 1-3 record at the 2011 Chicago Open, losing to the Russians, CEP, and a close match to Infamous. They defeat the Los Angeles Ironmen in their final match of the weekend. The vibe surrounding the team on their 9-hour drive back from Chicago to Omaha is tense and foreboding. Even prior to stepping on the field, the mood of the team is distant, and the negativity in the air was palatable. Something is amiss.
Going through practice, we weren't having fun playing paintball anymore. And so just kind of all of that was embodied in our attitude in Chicago. And so even though we might have gone out, played well some games, played not so well other games.
Even after we beat the Ironman, like walking off the field and being in the pits, no one was happy.
We've never gone ever close to that long with not having a good record.
It kind of just started getting to us. Losing sucks.
I mean, it's not fun when you lose.
Going into our second year playing pro, it's like now this is the time where we need to start stepping up to actually prove, we're not the new team anymore, we're not the rookie team, so now you got to go show that you deserve to be in the pro bracket.
We were a year and a half into pro, and we understood that there would be some kind of learning curve, and it wasn't going to be easy. There's going to be a transition. But for the most part, we felt like we should have already reached that transition. And so there was a lot of frustration, and there was a lot of, you know, maybe even with some people like doubt that, you know, that it wasn't gonna work.
Off the field, it was getting to us, where before, like if we were doing bad in paintball, that stayed on the field. You know, good or bad on paintball, stayed on the field. It was kind of starting to get to us outside of paintball. And so the attitude kind of in Chicago was really kind of more of a, you know, agitated state.
I mean, I guess it was just kind of a rough time because like,
tensions were so high, like we were butting heads with each other, we were butting heads with our coach.
There definitely was a very weird type of gloomy vibe at Chicago, and usually we're not like that.
There's just things we couldn't control, and then on top of that we had people that were out of control, and it got to the point where it messed with everybody, and honestly I can't say that like anybody even really wanted to be there. It was just, it was like, can we just go because this is ridiculous.
I can tell you and share with you that in the middle of last year there was a lot of question on if they all wanted to stay together.
Yeah, there was talk about us quitting paintball. Like, oh, let's just stop playing. And that's kind of, yeah.
We know we should be doing better, why aren't we? And we were trying to figure out things for why we weren't and improve, and they weren't working. So there was a lot of frustration, a lot of, like I said, maybe some self-doubt in there. So
I'm not sure there was ever discontent that where, you know, you had a Chris Hooker that didn't like a Parker, or a Brian that, you know, was having problems with, you know, someone else on the team. I think it was just the unit. And we're good paintball players individually. We're awesome paintball players when we're together as our team.
Vicious are barely home long enough to do laundry before they're on a plane again to Canada to make an appearance in the Canadian X-Ball League. The trip north of the border would prove to be the breaking point. In the overhyped, overstimulated world that we find ourselves living in, phrases like unimaginable, unthinkable, and shocking get tossed around when the term surprising would suffice. But for Vicious fans, the fallout from Chicago and Canada leads to the truly unimaginable. Coach Greg Pauly and Vicious end their near 7-year relationship. He is really the only paintball coach the team has ever really known. Additionally, Pauly was a fixture in the team's paintball business operations as well, including their DSS retail operation and the regional amateur tournament series, which prevents many people involved from going into details about the split on camera. Even today, nearly 12 months later, neither members of Vicious nor Greg Pauly are very comfortable going into detail about the fallout.
You know, there's been a few sides. I think when you look at the fan base, you look at the remarks, one of the biggest challenges I think in paintball for anybody who's working on taking the high road is maintaining that.
Like I want to talk about it, but I don't know how, very specific on how it gets portrayed on film, I guess.
I would say it was definitely difficult with him leaving, just because, I mean, paintball aside, we had like a 4-hour meeting about letting him go. Like it was a huge decision.
And you know, him being a coach and kind of bringing me along up through those ranks. And so I guess I do owe a lot to, you know, getting this far. I never would have gotten this far. There are always, you know, those contributing factors that get you to where you are. So, you know, Greg was a big point of that. The Bortles were definitely a big part of that. And, you know, obviously the rest of our team, you know, was a big part of it. So, and that's all I've ever known. This is the only team I've played, you know, nationally with.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of, along the same lines, there was a lot of frustration with that whole relationship too.
The split with Greg in Chicago, after Chicago, was kind of, I mean, things just weren't working.
There's no specific thing I can point at and say, you know, this is why, or this is what happened, or, you know, but it was just kind of a time, it was just ready to go. I mean, we were at a time where there had to be some kind of change or it wasn't going to last much longer.
I don't know, I guess I did question playing paintball just because it wasn't enjoyable anymore. It was to a point where it wasn't fun. It's like, why am I spending all my weekends, all my time doing this just to get nothing out of it? Like, it's not easy. Like, getting to this level of paintball was not easy. Like, there's a lot of work to it, but it's very rewarding when it does pay off. But yeah, I did question it.
It's kind of funny because it's kind of like a running gag that Parker and I have had for years, and I've always, when things would go bad or things would go wrong, or even when things would go right, I'd always turn to Parker and I'd say, Parker, are we still having fun?
Sometimes you need to stand in and make hard choices, and we made hard choices. You know, it's different directions, different choices, but sometimes you have to make the choice that's in the betterment of the organization, and that was the choice we had to make.
With not even a month between the Canadian X-Ball tournament and the next event, Vicious is forced to employ an old-school strategy for the 2011 PSP New Jersey Open: coaching themselves.
Yeah, after the split with Greg, the next event was New Jersey, and didn't have time to find a coach, didn't know what to do, so it was kind of on the team's shoulders.
Well, it wasn't something we really wanted to do.
If Chris plays in the back center and looks Dorito side off the break and two people die on the snake side, he doesn't know what happened.
There was no way to try and play a point, come in, talk to the other people on your team, try to digest what went on during that point.
Everything's chaotic. You do this, you do that.
They would come in and it would be like, all right, well, who's playing next? And then it would just be like, well, who's playing good? And
throwing in game plans like at the start box. It's 5 seconds left. Like, hey, where are you going at this point? I don't know.
After the New Jersey Open, Karen and Carl Bortle make finding at least an interim coach a top priority. The Vicious organization taps Ryan Gray as an interim coach. Gray, an affable former player and coach from Oklahoma, has previous professional coaching experience, roaming the pits for San Antonio X Factor from 2007 until 2009, during which the team won 2 championships. He currently owns and runs Texas Storm, one of the hot young amateur teams moving up the PSP ladder. While Storm will remain his top priority, Gray is a welcome addition to the Vicious Brain Trust.
I think with the changes in the coaching that we made, I think what we were really looking for was some guidance.
I started playing played my first game in 1993. Got involved in tournament paintball in 1996. I ran a team called the Hooligans from 1996 till about 2000, and then we merged with a team called Texas Storm. In 2002, myself and Avery Amaya bought the team, and we've sort of been riding the Texas Storm train ever since. It's really odd, like I wouldn't really consider what I do with Vicious very much coaching. It's been a lot more just leadership stuff. Some teams need to have more structure, more organization. As it relates to the players themselves, it really is whatever is needed.
I remember it being weird because we went down a weekend before to practice with them, and it was a whole different experience.
They came out to Oklahoma City and played with Texas Storm the weekend before Orlando.
I've been coached one way my entire career, and to be coached the exact opposite way.
Very, very quickly I realized that there's nothing wrong with the way those guys play paintball. They play very well. The biggest problems they had were just team atmosphere, right? There were times where the guys were all sitting around together and they looked miserable. Just getting them to start understanding, hey, this is fun. The Bortles have really built such a great program that it was almost a shame to see kind of the condition it was in. But
you know, Ryan Gray has brought some pretty awesome things to the pits.
Some of the things that they would do in the pits and even outside the field to one another, where they wouldn't wait till the game was over before they kind of jumped on each other about mistakes that were made, that kind of thing. And so being able to sort of mill through those, hey, let's save that for later.
He wasn't the person who came in and was trying to dictate plays to us. He was just trying to be an extra set of eyes and see what's going on and say, hey, this is working well or this isn't working well, and this is what they're doing, so you need to try something else that's going to stop that.
We'll talk about it when the event's over, or when the match is over, so that they didn't change the whole pit. You know, Chris has such a huge personality and he's such a great leader that when he would get upset, man, you can see everybody in the pit, their mentality would change right away. So trying to keep guys like him and Zach and a few of the really core dudes smiling that was the culture change. That's what I had to do. So
Ray also finds the invitation appealing because it will give him the chance to reunite with fellow Oklahoman Trevor Reeser. Reeser joined Vicious at the start of the 2011 season and has quickly developed into one of its best young prospects.
I'm Trevor Reeser, 21 years old, and I've been playing for about 6 years now, and I shoot the Vicious Geode.
Yeah, so Trevor Reeser grew up playing paintball right in Oklahoma City and played with John Hubbard, who ran Texas Storm for me for a couple of years.
Ryan lives really close to me. He's probably 4 or 5 miles down the road from me. When I do play at home, it's with him and his guys. And I used to spend a lot of time in the store there and more. It's the same city that I live in, so we've known each other for quite a while.
He plays literally every weekend, regardless of whether or not it's winter or summer or whatever. I mean, the guy he's around all the time. He shops at Avid Extreme Sports, so he's really supported the store. He's been kind of a key guy in what we've tried to do as not only a business, but also with paintball and the culture in Oklahoma City. Trevor's been huge in that. If it wasn't for him playing on that team, I probably wouldn't help them at all. Not because I dislike the other guys or whatever, but just because I kind of have a personal responsibility to him.
We're still not sure where our coaching is going to end up.
Going into World Cup, I finally got guys like Chris Hooker to smile, which was really difficult. I was able to get, even Zach and some of the guys to start cracking jokes.
We're not his main team, Texas Storm is, which, he told us from the get-go, so it's not a big deal whatsoever.
And we're in the process of working with Ryan right now, and he and I have had some conversations, and I think our take on it is, hey, let's figure out if it works. If it doesn't work, let's do the best thing for everybody, and it's been good so far.
It was a good change, and it's something we needed.
PSP World Cup will be Vicious's last chance to salvage something positive from 2011. If they fail to qualify for Sunday, it will mark 2 full seasons without donning their iconic red jerseys.
The yellow line, the to and from, forever side by side. Is that my time? Shout out on the ground and food for flies. Just some words, just some feelings, desperate hands on fallen ceilings. I've gotta take my grab at something great, something great. So I'm off into the sunset, a little more glasses than keep. I've gotta take my grab at something great. in the gallery in my name. And how much longer written on your face? The yellow line, the to and from, forever side by side. I've gotta take my grab and something grind. Is that my time? Shed out on the ground and foot for flies. I'm in the gallery in my name. Yeah, a little more lasting than shame. Oh, fire, locked it all for circumstance. Came up short, no backup plan. Locked it all for circumstance. Came up short, no backup plan. Yeah.
Vicious opens up the tournament in less than ideal fashion, getting stomped by Dynasty 7-0. But unlike in previous tournaments, Vicious keeps their composure.
It's not about how hyped we can get before a match. It's about the focus.
We just had to get past the, hey, it's okay to lose. You know, you're not playing Division I, you're not playing Division II anymore. You're not going to beat everybody you play. They were able to get past that Dynasty loss and really get mentally hardened to all of the nonsense and the craziness and understand, hey, we just got to go play the next game. So
that's where we were at that point. I mean, it was, hey, we lost badly. So let's figure out what we need to do to not let that happen again.
In the PSP Race 2 format, 4 matches are played in the preliminary round. The 6 teams with the best record move on to the quarterfinals. And after the overall record and head-to-head, point differential, the result of the points that you've scored in all 4 matches minus the sum of all the points that you have given up, is the next and often determining tiebreaker. Aware that they need every point possible given the blowout loss to Dynasty, Sherman makes a hustle play, hanging the flag as time expires, getting Vicious another point.
Please don't show the clip of me diving into the box. Oh my god, yeah. Play the Rocky theme song like in the back.
For him to, dive into the box, well, it was kind of funny because Trevor was on the sideline, on the snake side. He was actually yelling, dive.
Yeah, engineering background, the whole frictional force thing. Yeah. I'm well aware of.
For like Zach and most of the guys on Vicious, they would definitely go out until they have no energy left. They'll die on that field.
The whole concept behind X-Ball is that you have all these points. It's not one game, because the more games you play, the more the good team is going to separate from the worst team. The games within the pro bracket are so tight that you have to go within the game, so you got to go to point spreads now. And so literally every time you're playing, every single game you play, every single point of every single match, that point matters.
Omaha Vicious closes the prelims tied with Edmonton Impact and the Los Angeles Ironmen with 2 wins and 2 losses. But Sherman's last-second flag hang, plus an overtime victory against Aftershock, gives Vicious a plus-minus score a ½ point higher than Impact's. Vicious qualifies for their first Sunday appearance ever as professionals. They will face the Los Angeles Ironmen in the quarterfinal round of the World Cup tournament early Sunday morning.
When the daylight comes, do you feel it? Leave your bag of bones underneath your bed.
Everybody take the time, look down at the jersey you have on right now. Everybody look at it.
Feels good, doesn't it, boys?
All right, you are a different person. You are a different player when you wear this red jersey. We are a different team when we wear these red jerseys. No one has seen you play in this jersey. No one has seen this play in this jersey. We are a different mother team. Right now, you get that. Get up!
The red jerseys came from D2 year. We
kind of came up with this tradition where it was, you know, every time we make the top 4, make Sunday, we switch from our black Vicious jerseys to these red Vicious jerseys.
We won the very first tournament we ever implemented the red jersey. So that was a pretty big deal, and we're like, hey, that was pretty sweet. We should keep that going.
It's really not so much, to me at least, about wearing the red jersey. It's just more about what wearing the red jersey means.
And you know, they just became more of an idea, like a mindset.
We've gotten our first check off the list for that tournament that we need to get.
All the way through our semi-pro year, which is like 2.5 years, we got to wear that jersey every single tournament.
Going 2 whole seasons without wearing the red jersey,
it was almost like we weren't meeting our first goal. You know, the first goal of the tournament, get to the red jerseys. That's not the ultimate goal, you know, that's not where you want to settle, but that is the first goal. So get to the red jerseys, second goal, let's go win the tournament.
You know, it felt really good to wear a cup.
I think it meant a lot for our fans and Karen and everyone that had just been around us, Carl and Julie. And
finally putting them on and not just losing in them right away. Finally getting that win, first time wearing them in the pro against the Ironman, you know, brought us back to what we wanted to be.
The red jerseys and the respected status as a top 4 qualifier aren't the only things returning at the 2011 World Cup. The event also marks the return of one of their own. Patrick Winfield was a promising young tournament player working his way up the ranks of the Vicious program and their DSS amateur paintball teams. Until 2010, when real life crept in and interfered with his paintball life, taking Winfield away from the game.
I just feel real close to Patrick because he and I went through a lot of those D2 years together and D3 years together when I played on the DSS team a lot.
The reason I kind of left was there was real life situations.
His mom had some health issues.
My mom got breast cancer, and that was a huge family problem. And with my brother working full time and my sister working full time, no one was really home to take her to and from her chemo. So I kind of took on that role.
Actually, when he walked away was before his first pro event. He was moved up to the pro team, and he couldn't be there.
Yeah, I definitely missed paintball while I was gone. I just had those urges like on the weekends. Like you're sitting there on like, if you didn't have work or something on a Sunday and nothing was going on, you're like, you know. I kept in contact with a couple of them through Facebook and text messages. Sometimes we went out. And I played a little bit. I was playing around in Ohio with my cousin in Cincinnati. And one of the guys at the field, he actually recognized me from the Vicious organization.
And we contacted him back, I think more from Karen talking to him about maybe doing the NCPA since he was a student at UNO.
He told Karen about it, that he saw me up there playing, and a couple weeks later, Karen asked me to come back and play for Vicious for the World Cup.
A few conversations, he said he really missed it and would love to have a chance to come back. And he's a great guy. He's definitely one of those guys that I always enjoy having around.
Vicious loses to Tampa Bay Damage in the semifinal round of the World Cup. Damage goes on to defeat Moscow Red Legion for the championship. But no doubt, Vicious leaves World Cup with many positive lessons learned.
It's just kind of like we were kind of just in a rut for the past 2 years, and then at the end of the year we finally had some progress. It's like things are actually starting to finally turn around and work out for the best.
The 2012 off-season is a quiet one for Vicious, roster-wise. They make only one addition, picking up Matt Sossman, an even-tempered player from the Southeast United States.
My name is Matt Sossman. I'm 23 years old. I am from Concord, North Carolina. I was actually just looking on PbNation one day, and I went in their thread and seen that they were having tryouts, and sent them an email. I went and tried out and worked out well from there.
Sossman has played for several top-level amateur teams, including Gridlock, who battled Vicious on the team's rise up the PSP amateur ranks. Most recently, he played parts of the 2011 season with the New Jersey Jesters.
We were all skeptical because we've kind of butted heads with Jesters before, so we were like, we know how those guys are. But he actually turned out to be complete opposite. Like, he clicked with everybody real well. He's a nice guy. He's a real solid player, and I mean, we picked him up from there. And playing-wise, he shoots a lot of people.
Sossman gives Vicious depth on the back line. He is another Chris Hooker type player, counting field awareness and gunfighting discipline as his major attributes. The Nebraska winter is a typically harsh one, and Vicious rarely sees the light of day between November and February. Their preparations for the coming season are further limited as Metro Paintball, the lone indoor facility in eastern Nebraska and western Iowa, closes its doors. Ultimately, the off-season training consists of a combination of drills, a few treks north to an indoor facility in Minnesota, and just a handful of playable days outside. As spring comes, the team heads to Galveston Island, Texas, to open the 2012 PSP season in early March. A shaky off-season training regimen isn't the only challenge Vicious is about to face. Meteorologists are predicting a massive thunderstorm and torrential downpours the entire weekend.
again. Tattooed it with a pen, lifted me in the wind to where I never would have been. I held a window open to my soul and snuck them in. They love me like a trusted friend till I come again. I'm in your city, putting bandit for fame with a cannonball and chain, spitting aerosol flames. Such a paradox, strange. I'm prepared to cause change, but can I say that I'm all sane? No. They told me at the top, kinda lonely, so I stopped climbing for it. Thought y'all might wanna own me. Hey, turns out I already got a category with a slot out to my lonely. Got the garbage spot this for me, babe. When the motherfucking beat come back again, I can breathe real deep, get a second wind. Don't hate with a venom, and I already did. Better just try to beat with the lesson. Here's the message. Here's you will never get more or less than a sweat and tears you invested in. Less you sit and rest in peace, the more blessed you get. And the best deception is that success is effortless. Trust me, though it never is. Let me give that more emphasis. Get up off your ass, go do some work. Ain't no reward without movement first. If you're not really trying to prove your worth, quit sucking life out the universe. Most of us want something for free. It's never gonna be, not for me. This shit is my property and it's all I need. Monopoly, and obviously I believe in charity and modesty. But everything my half-blind eyes can see by degree belongs to me. I don't even rap like that. Sorry you heard me snap like that. Let me just take a deep breath and get myself right back on track. I love you guys, I just want y'all to see the truth about it. If you don't love yourself, ain't nothing I can do about it. This game polluted, crowded, human garbage, oozing out it. Bunch of dudes in a stupid outfit, trying to call a group or movement, stop it. Old school dudes who ain't popping, hate to see your venue get crowded. Aim for that you ain't inspired, now you wanna see who can prove the loudest. But then there's so much amazingness that I can't resist it. It's not that ain't nobody making it, but they ain't listening. At age 6, I grabbed a brush and started painting pictures. Grabbed the mic and looked at God and said, okay, hit it!
Withstanding rain and mud are commonplace for paintball tournaments, but no one had ever seen anything like this. Mother Nature brutalizes the Texas event. In addition to rain all day, thunderstorms and high winds roll through Galveston each night. Several outlying amateur division fields and portions of the trade show area are destroyed Thursday night. Friday night is worse, and large sections of the protective netting surrounding the field are torn down by 50-mile-an-hour winds. For Saturday's games, anyone within a 300-foot radius of the fields must wear goggles at all times. The PSP staff brings forth a Herculean effort to keep the event running, and they managed to finish the amateur brackets. But rain and lightning during the day wreak havoc with the schedule. By the time San Diego Dynasty defeats Chicago Aftershock, the last game of the pro morning session, it's nearly 6 p.m. Saturday evening. While morning bracket teams have played all 4 prelim games, Vicious and their fellow teams in the afternoon bracket have only completed 2. Saturday night, the PSP makes the tough call, and for the first time in history, a professional paintball tournament has been postponed mid-event. Vicious will play their 2 remaining prelim games, and the rest of the Texas event, the next stop of the series, held 6 weeks later in Phoenix, Arizona. One day before that tournament is scheduled to start. Still in its infancy, professional paintball doesn't provide the living other sports routinely discussed on SportsCenter, or even other action sports. Instead, it provides its players with something a little less tangible, where the primary rewards are pursuing a passion and seeing the world. These factors help create the archetype of the modern professional paintball player. Typically a young male in their early 20s, often either college age or enrolled in college classes part-time, as the flexibility of a college schedule can match up well with the travel demands of professional paintball. Omaha Vicious is unique in that almost the entire team are either full-time college students or recent graduates.
I got a degree in electricity.
I'm studying electronics engineering.
I go to University of Nebraska at Omaha, and I'm a senior, and I'm studying criminal justice with a sociology and psych minor.
I go to the University of Nebraska at Omaha full-time.
Bortle even shares a campus residence with Justin Pike, a player competing on the Vicious feeder team, DSS.
Living in the UNO dorms, of course, me and Justin, since we're living in the same room and it's, that college life, we have a bunch of friends living in the dorms with us, and, they kind of give you that weird look, you're traveling all this place and doing all this stuff for paintball.
Vicious grabs Pike and a few other DSS players who are UNO students, and the group petitions their school to represent the UNO at the NCPA National Collegiate Paintball Championship held the week before the PSP Phoenix. UNO, like many schools, has a paintball club but are not currently in an NCPA conference. so the Mavericks would be entered to the NCPA Open tournament, trying to earn a wild card slot for the final round, which will air on Fox College Sports. News of the team's entry into the NCPA is not received well from the college paintball community online. The Vicious players aren't violating any rules, as the NCPA is not a sanctioned NCAA collegiate sport. Additionally, the NCPA has no specific rules preventing players with professional experience from participation. It is not uncommon for pro players enrolled in college to participate in the NCPA. Mike Carthy, formerly of Tampa Bay Damage, made an appearance for the University of Florida in 2003. And Long Beach State is currently led by Corey Bornstein, an outstanding player who's been on several pro rosters and is currently playing for Sacramento Excessive.
It seems like no matter what I say on this, like somebody's gonna be like, oh, those guys, yeah.
So, you know, going there, we knew there would probably be a little bit of counter coaching, but we didn't think it was gonna be as big as it gotten. Every game we beat a team worse, like that team kind of like transformed and went over to the sidelines and kind of joined the other team that we just beat, and then they kind of transformed a mondo 70-person crowd of just screaming.
We played the NCPA in, I believe, 2010.
We actually weren't allowed to play the upper X-Ball division, which was what we wanted to play.
We just wanted to go back to the NCPA and play the X-Ball format. When people said that we were sandbagging the event, we were just college kids and we go to the same university.
None of us just went to school to play the tournament.
Again! Get him off the field!
By the final match with Long Beach, the crowd and counter-coaching is loud enough to rival any college football game.
Our finals match, they did a pretty good job at getting a lot of people over there. Like, we couldn't even hear each other on the field.
We had to go off each other's body language to understand what was going on. It was definitely a little bit more hostile environment than what we're kind of used to, I guess.
So props to those guys.
UNO, with 4 Vicious players, lose the championship finals to LBSU. And they leave directly from the NCPA to Phoenix for the next stop at the PSP circuit, but in a questionable headspace. The team had both been blasted online for beating up on weaker teams.
People were like, why did you run the score up to 13-0? That's not nice. You should have taken your time. It's like, no, they were blowing the horn on 4-on-2s. It's not like we were trying to run the score up.
And chastised for losing to LBSU.
We went into the NCPA tournament knowing that no matter what, people were gonna say things, you know. There was no win for us, but like we just go because we love playing paintball.
Vicious arrive in Phoenix to play 2 preliminary games that are technically part of the 2012 Texas tournament, and they handily lose both matches. Vicious has to go back to the hotel, regroup, and start an entirely new tournament in the morning, and in their minds. The team's detractors are louder now than ever before, and they're writing off the World Cup as a fluke, and the second place finish at the NCPA, and the bad day of paintball from day 1 in Phoenix, questioning the team's place among the elite. Vicious drops the first prelim game on Friday to the Russians, 7-5. They played well, but not well enough. Their next match is against Houston Heat. Simply put, this is Omaha Vicious' make it or break it moment. Either somebody steps up, makes a play, and exerts their will onto the other team, or Vicious risks fading into the darkness of obscurity.
Of course I understand the way he feels, I feel the same. And you should know, you're the one who made me feel that way. The assorted kinds of hell that you have put me through have made me an expert. I'm feeling like a fool. Oh, why would someone like you ever be concerned? Talking about a body being mistreated, coming from you, it sounds absurd. How would you know how it feels? How would you know?
146, Hunter! Hunter, you guys come on, make something happen, Hunter! Hey, homies, run the clock! Hey, guys, 134, Hunter! Right side! James, 1 minute!
How would you know how it feels? How would you know? How would you know? How it feels? How would you
The victory over Heat propels Vicious, lighting a fire under the team for the first time since World Cup.
They just made the finals the day before in the Galveston event. And so, you know, now it's time, okay, if we beat them, now we have a real shot at mentally taking that next step. Like after playing that poorly the day before, you can't go 0-2 the next day.
Went back to the hotel and we're like, all right, what is going on? Like why isn't anything working?
what we have to do. We have to win this match.
I guess everybody just kind of gelled and things worked and everybody just started playing paintball again.
And then it came down to, we were down a point, we had to score.
The time was winding down. It was me and Hooker.
And I think Sam Monville.
And I moved up into their little race bunker right in front of Monville. And Hooker, he ended up getting shot. And so it ended up being a one-on-one. And knowing that I had to win the point, I had to do something, plus the time was running down.
And Shane just had to go get him.
In Shane's own words, he decided he was going to run him down, so the dude decided to pop the top.
And I knew he was going to pop the top.
Like everybody does when you run him down.
Putting some like right into his face real quick and got him clean. And
was able to shoot him in the face a couple times so he couldn't see where he was shooting at. And, you know, came out unscathed.
Haven't heard the end of that story from him. Oh yeah, it's like going to be a staple in his life. He'll tell his kids for sure.
Shane Colby's monster move comes on a play where Chris Hooker apparently misplayed the paint. However, people watching at home on the PSP webcast, and even his teammates in the pits, were unaware of what was really happening on the field.
Yeah, I'd been pre-warned that you were going to ask about this.
Hooker's a smart guy. Like, he's one of the smart paintball players.
And just everybody, I mean, even my teammates, when I came in, they're like, what are you doing?
What, I mean, I know on the webcast it looks like, what the hell is he doing? Like, why is he doing this? But truthfully, he ran out of air.
Yeah, I had like, you know, maybe like half a hopper left of paint. I had paintballs going maybe 50 feet.
He knows mentally how to put that game together.
My whole rationale is like, yeah, of course, you want to try to spread the field, you want to get wide and pinch the guy out. So if I can get over to the Dorito side of the field, he's in the snake corner, we could have pinched him out. The biggest problem I had with doing that is going that way and then not being able to shoot him at all. They're going to figure it out. There's coaches standing right next to him. Like, there's no faking it. Once I get parallel with him and I can't shoot him, he's going to be like, okay, what's going on here? Something weird. So my biggest thing was I want to stay near Shane so I can talk to him. I can let him know what's going on. And if for some reason he tries to come get one of us, then I might have a chance that one of my balls will make it there, first of all, and possibly break on it.
Mentally winning that point was really huge for us because, you know, it ties up the game. There was 47 seconds left, I think. And my mentality going out for that next point was, screw this, let's not just play that 47-second point and then go into overtime and see what happens. Let's just win this point.
Hey, we gotta get those kills off the break, guys.
Stay alive, burn the penalties out. Hey, Koski.
Hey, you guys, we need to focus up. What do we talk about?
You can share with one look. Everyone is waiting patiently for something. What do you have to say for yourself? What is it this time, or what
Omaha Vicious posts a record of 3 wins and 1 loss, their best preliminary score ever since turning pro. Vicious was unaffected by the struggles this time around. The team attributes this evenness to their owners. The Vicious program, made up not only of the pro team, but also the retail storefront and tournament series managed by Jake Topping, as well as several lower division PSP teams, all come together to create one of the most family-like atmospheres in the sport.
Sometimes we fight, just like every family does, and then at the end of the day, you realize, well, Karen or Carl, they're like my surrogate mom and dad. So even if we do fight, they're still gonna love me at the end of the day. Like, you know, Karen can't be mad at me for too long.
The extension of the family, I think, is huge in this. And it goes back to day one of this organization. We went and played the 2005 World Cup, and as I said, that's kind of where Karen got to know everybody a little bit more. I knew a lot of them from, you know, just playing locally around here. But we decided that we were actually going to see if they wanted to get together and play as an organized team, start this organization.
Vicious started as actually Data Support Systems, which is the name of our computer software company, and I became one of their sponsors because they were all these young broke paintball kids that didn't have money to eat at World Cup, and somebody was going to go dumpster diving on another team, so I thought I'd give them some money to eat, which they then took and bought the paintball stuff that they couldn't afford at the event.
Like coming back from that tournament, we were all like, yeah, we should definitely do that again. Like, let's go play next year. And then we're all like, oh wait, how are we gonna do it?
We just did this because there was a bunch of kids from Omaha that if we hadn't done it, wouldn't have had the opportunity. And these kids know, and they're appreciative of it.
The Bortles home, located on a lake just west of Omaha, has acted like an island of misfit toys for kids from Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri who wish to pursue their competitive paintball dreams.
I don't know, after that World Cup, when we started playing as a team, the team kept going to the next year, just getting closer and closer to them, because, you know, after practice, well, what do you guys want to do? Let's go hang out at the Bortles.
Most of my summers were practice, then hanging out with all them at the Bortles or out to eat, wherever we went after practice.
You know, you always hear the, oh, we're a family, oh, we're so close, you know? I mean, we're not a family, but we're all really, really good friends, and, you know, Karen looks out for us like we're her, you know, adopted children that she never wanted, but has to kind of deal with.
Yeah, pretty much my mom is still the team mom. You can tell her, like, even though we're all not teenagers anymore and some of us are graduating college, some of us are still in college.
Even the Bortles' other children have become involved in the sport.
Our oldest daughter, Jamie, she actually went to the very first World Cup with me, with Brian, and she's proud of her brother.
So like I said, you have my mom and dad who owns the company, even my sister who helps run the store and does all the sales for the team.
But without, like, Julie, who is Brian's, well, it's a middle child of ours, but it's Brian's sister. Julie and Jake work so hard behind the scenes. I mean, without them, Vicious wouldn't exist.
Yeah, when Julie had her first child, Ian, a few weeks ago, it's amazing how the players, I mean, it was minutes after he was born that our out-of-state guys would be posting on Facebook, and
we've all just kind of grown up with Julie.
It's just an extension of the family.
And that's why, like, honestly, you know, without the group that we had, I don't know that we would have ever gotten better or the team would have survived.
Most of the Vicious roster has been spending time at the Bortles' house since before they could drive. This off-the-field family aspect has allowed Vicious to weather the scorn of outsiders. The internet becomes more silent as suddenly, Omaha Vicious is qualified for Sunday in 2 of the last 3 PSP tournaments. Vicious gets behind early and drops the quarterfinal match to X Factor 7-4.
It was a game where we went down too far too early. I mean, came out kind of flat, and once you get down that far, it makes it really tough to come back. Because even if you win 3 or 4 points in a row, all they have to do is win 1 or 2 more, and then it's over. Winning that many points in a row gets really tough.
The team heads back to Omaha knowing that they have played their best, most complete tournament as professionals, literally the day after they were starting to be written off.
I would say just how well we did in Phoenix, not so much just breaking out the red jerseys. It's, for me, I talked about this before, but for me it's just how we all felt like as a team. Like, we were having fun and everything was working and it was fun again. I mean, everything just felt right. Like, I don't know how to explain it, just vibes worked right then. And so I hope it stays that way this whole year, you know, like just good vibes.
After 2 practices, Vicious pile into their cars and caravan down I-80 to Chicago for the 2012 Chicago Open. The mood couldn't be more different from a year ago, and this shows in the first matches of the tournament. Vicious dominates Aftershock, and then loses in overtime to the former champions, Moscow Red Legion, 5-4. Vicious opens Saturday morning in the exact same fashion, going up 3-0 on Seattle Thunder. Until the momentum that they worked so hard to build is gone in the span of a few points. At this level, let off the aggression or make a few mental mistakes, and your opponent will happily make you pay. So on the one hand, Omaha Vicious leaves Chicago in the same place that they did last year, with a 1-3 finish. And yet, on another level, the CPX Sports Complex Vicious is leaving from this year is located in an alternative universe. It is from a world where the team's full potential, while not yet fully realized, is emerging. It is a place where the greatest sport in the world is fun again.
Do it again. Because he said when you step on the field, but then he said from now on. So is it from now on or when you step on the field? Zach, I have a question. Shut up!
And we're playing paintball at the highest level, next to your friends, next to your family, and the brothers that you have grown into adulthood with, is bursting with more promise, more adventure, and maybe even the first elusive professional PSP win.
I've been up. There's a lot on my plate, and the ones I loved still disarray.
Brian, man, like when Brian's on, Brian's just, lack of a better word, just puffing people up, you know?
It seems like he's always angry when he's playing paintball, which I think helps him play paintball. Like, he's always like, oh, those guys cheated me. Like,
he's the type of kid that you want to just put your hands around his throat, but you're laughing at him at the same time. So you're laughing too hard to actually physically do it to him.
He says he always plays real relaxed. And like you can see it when he's playing, he's just kind of like, you know, just hanging out, looking around, oh, shoot that guy, you know. Matt Sauceman was a great pickup. When I met him, he was like, he has that southern appeal.
Parker wakes you up at 4 in the morning when he has to go to work, and you got off at 3 in the morning. And
so every morning I'd have to get up at like 5 to go to work. So every morning I'd bust in his door and I'd pull his sheets off his bed, and he had this little fan. I would just point it on him and turn it on full blast, and then I would just leave every morning. he didn't like that very much.
You know, Parker, it's like, he might play the back center, he might run to the corner. He's gonna look really goofy doing it, but you know, he's gonna get it done.
Patrick has a really dry sense of humor a lot of the time. It's kind of hard to get him all the time. If there was a complaint box on our team, 90% of it would be filled with Phil.
I like having Phil in front of me. I feel like he's gonna be the guy that's gonna go and not necessarily shoot everybody, but he's gonna go do the damage. Off the field, like, I hope he's gonna be an awesome engineer.
Yeah, the astronaut surfer.
I mean, he's just a goofball, I guess. I mean, that kid's just entertainment left and right.
Tickle me, Trevor, maybe.
On the field, Trevor, he's pretty versatile. I mean, we can put him on the snake or Dorito side, wherever we need him.
He's really ticklish. Like, you can grab his leg. Like, not tickle him, just like grab his leg, and he will start laughing hysterically. Zach, he's still kind of the same way he was in D3. Like,
yeah, Zach and his puking has been kind of a tradition.
Puking? No, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. And you just run it while the credits are going.
Put that out of you. Yeah.
Demons out! Demons out! Release those inner demons! Oh.
We actually did have in Spider Cup, we had a ref give him the benefit of the doubt once because he's like, you know, you were throwing up before, so I'll call you clean. I was just like, this really works? Like, I might have to start puking too?
The day that Zach stops puking, that's when I'm gonna worry. Because then I know his heart's not in it. And Zach is definitely a great player and we need him.
Now, from the tree to clovers and